if we assume he dies in this film, does he drown when the air eventually runs out? Or
as I've said, I don't think that he has died. There's nothing.
He's still alive today.
In a world where there are now 2 sequels to Deep Blue Sea, I am not going to rule out the possibility that Stellan Skarsgård or an actor playing his character will still show up at some point in a sequel.
Well, when we eventually cover them very briefly, not on a chapter by chapter basis, we will find out. But until then,
let me ask you this, Jay. Have you seen Deep Blue Sea 2?
I have not.
Horrible.
Mark has, and Mark refuses to do it chapter by chapter. Just thinking about it makes him sad.
I have not seen either. I have heard good things about the third one in comparison.
Well, we will cover them both, probably one episode each, not 8 months of our lives to each one. As this is
Imagine at the end of this movie if Jim just pops up in like full Predator gear, like Nicole Kidman from Aquaman, and just blood covered and holding a spear and a fin, and then they give you no explanation of it. Wouldn't that? Oh man, I want that movie now.
It'd be great if when you've got Carter and Preacher on the platform, Preacher's like, "You sure there were just 3 sharks?" And Carter goes, "Oh wait, there was a 4th one." And then Jim kind of bounces up, still strapped to the gurney, just buoys up with, like you say, he's just killed this 4th shark. He's done it. He's taken it out while still strapped to a gurney. I'd like that.
What's a better hypothetical fight? Jim versus one of the Mako sharks in Deep Blue Sea, or there's a scene in Shark Night where a guy battles a hammerhead with one arm and he kills it.
Wait, the hammerhead has one arm?
No, a guy gets his arm ripped off by a bull shark, I believe.
I know.
Oh, my bad. But, yeah, so the guy has one arm and he goes and kills a hammerhead in a lake. Or Jim's make-believe battle. What's better?
Well, I mean, the make-believe battle is in Deep Blue Sea, so therefore it's better.
Yeah, that logic tracks to me.
I mean, I haven't seen Shark Night, but I will if it's got that fight in it. That sounds good.
I remember watching that movie and just being very disappointed with it. But there is a jet ski action scene, so I love those. And there's also I was like, did a guy just battle a hammerhead shark with one arm? So I was like, I think I like this movie now. I think it gets a pass in my book. Any movie where a person with one arm battles a shark is fine with me. It's cool. It gets a pass.
I'm pretty sure Sharknado 2 was the peak for that, I believe, 5-6 entry franchise. But I mean, the first 3, I don't think I watched after the 3rd one. I may have watched parts of the 4th one, but yeah, it kind of, it peaks pretty quickly.
I mean, just heard of the first one and thought, nope, and have yet to watch a Sharknado. I've listened to every How Did This Get Made talking about them, but I've never.
I have a large novelty Sharknado hat for the 3rd one, I believe, which is like a tornado, and they're little. It's all styrofoam. Or not styrofoam, it's all foam, and there's all little sharks attached to the tornado. It's a thing I have.
I have a Sharknado pillow in my office. I just remembered it. I'm looking at it right now. It's very artistically done. It's not official. I don't think it's licensed. It's inspired by.
So, Aaron, in your Hollywood travels, have you encountered anyone involved with the making of Deep Blue Sea?
This is a great question, and now I need to think about this. Let me see. Yes, I have met Tom Jane, actually. I met Tom Jane at Comic-Con. He was with Frank Darabont. They were just hanging out because because of the Mist. The black and white edition was about to be released, and so they're hanging out at Comic-Con at like a booth, and I don't think they're selling copies. I think they're selling just like, I think Stephen King also had just like, one of them had something else also coming out at the same time. So they're just kind of there. But no, I did meet Tom Jane. I told him he was the Punisher because I thought he was a good Punisher regardless of the movie, which I think is okay.
That fight with the Russians, amazing. I love that brawl.
There's a lot of good stuff. I like that knife fight car chase thing that happens. There's fun stuff. That movie has fun things. It also has him planting fire hydrants to confuse his villain and reveal it's a weird movie as far as the lengths of punishment that he gives. But regardless, no, I met him. I said hi. I said you're the Punisher, and they should make more of you. And he's like, yeah, Marvel's got to get their shit together. So let's see, that was one. Anyone else? Like, I've been in areas where Sam Jackson has also been at the same time, but I've never, met Sam Jackson. I constantly see scarves and think, well, Stellan Skarsgård must have considered this at one point, so that's a thing.
And skateboards.
And skateboards, yeah, of course. No, I think that's the extent. Tom Jane, which, I mean, he's the star of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I was half expecting to say, nope, and just move on, and I'd edit that whole bit out. But no,
you never know. I
Yeah.
I know some people.
I had to check because you are our most Hollywood guest so far. I would
Sure.
say. I had to check. So good. So we were talking about Stellan Skarsgård. This is nothing to do with this chapter. It's the previous chapter. When he actually gets his arm bitten off, I was going through making some images for the Instagram posts the other day, and the scene where he gets the arm chopped off, it is clearly not Stellan Skarsgård when he actually gets
Oh, no.
that. No, it's very much a stunt person, which my whole world has shattered. It's someone who has a completely different haircut. But hey,
I want to be that person though. Like,
right?
I was Stellan Skarsgård's stunt double in Deep Blue Sea. Like, I'd retire on that.
Yeah.
Sure. But do you, when you say stunt, do you mean like the person that was like being lifted up and down by the shark with an arm, like that kind of stunt?
It's the scene where the arm gets bitten, where there's like a quick cut to an arm inside the mouth. So it seems like if it is a stunt person, it's a very mild stunt to do.
Because it's like so I only watched this scene for this podcast because I'm a purist. Hey,
that's all we ask.
I haven't seen the whole movie in a couple years, I think, at this point. I watched it fairly recently, but I mean, I've seen it probably 5 or 6 times at this point anyway, so it doesn't matter. But as I recall, because it's a slow motion sequence, right? He gets bitten and then it kind of reverts to slow-mo for a bit. Am I right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he gets bit and it just kind of shakes him a little bit at first, right? Before he like falls backwards and everything.
Yeah, and then he's scrambling around on the floor, leaving a
like
trail
blood
of
everywhere and all that.
Which is now just been cleaned up, actually. So the shark has done him a favour by smashing this window. It's cleaned up that nasty blood trail.
Oh yeah, that saves janitorial from a lot of mess.
Yeah, because in the previous scene,
used to. I mean, the rest of the weekend, I mean, it's gonna be pretty rough. It's like a lot of
he's
water.
gonna have a lot else to clean, but he's
They got to clean out the stove because of the bird and the contamination and what have you. But I mean, there's a lot of things to deal with.
The stove will have recently just been purified with heat. I think they were fine with that. That's been done. That's fine.
Well, they got to get the carcass out of there. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, the carcass is inside the shark. That's the least of their problems. That shark is.
So I was looking up the stunt coordinator. It was Ronnie Rondell Jr. and he was the stunt coordinator on Milk Money, the Melanie Griffith classic. But he also did Captain Ron, so I'm cool with that.
That needs to be a Warner Brothers action 3-pack right there.
Oh,
Captain Ron, Milk Money with Ed Harris and Melanie Griffith and Deep Blue Sea.
Imagine, I would love that. Just the complete. That doesn't work. Oh, that'd be beautiful. Oh,
Milk Money.
Remember that movie? Remember how irresponsible that movie was?
Yes.
This is the first I'm hearing of this film existing.
These children save up their money and they go find a prostitute played by Melanie Griffith to show her. They pay her and she shows them her boobs, her breasts, and
with you so far.
And then they pay her to go meet their dad, played by Ed Harris, and then they spark up a relationship and become a couple.
How old are the boys we're talking about here?
12.
What would be the age you think they are?
I mean, I'm not sure there is a right answer, but yeah, I would guess like early teens would be fine-ish.
There's also a mob subplot because why wouldn't there be?
Of course.
There were so many mob subplots in the 90s, right? Like there's always the goofy villains who were in the mob. Blank Check, were they mobsters? Were there mobsters?
Well, yeah, there was the guy that got out of got just like escaped from prison who was working with Tone Loc and another guy. Who's the other guy? It's not Richard Schiff. It's someone like him. Maybe it is Richard Schiff. God, I gotta look up a Blank Check now.
Paul Giamatti, or
I mean, that's before Paul Giamatti got like bigger in that.
I'm just trying to think of Richard Schiff-esque actors.
Baby's Day Out.
Michael Lerner. It's not Richard Schiff at all. Michael Lerner. He's like the bank. He runs the bank in that movie. Tone Loc is another guy. Why are we talking about this so much? Yes, there's a mob adjacent plot in Blank Check. Yes.
What would a mob adjacent plot be like in this movie?
For Deep Blue Sea?
Aquatica could be like mob funded, so Russell could be there as like instead of being there to shut them down on Monday, he's a mob stooge there to sabotage them, or one of the other crew members could be there to. If it was more like Jurassic Park with it needs its Dennis Nedry character to like be there to be the human who makes everything go wrong. So if he had like mob ties, if they had an extra character who died immediately by, not necessarily by Dilophosaurus, but
So if Russell Franklin was like there on more like nefarious terms as far as like he was claiming to be a big, sponsor guy that was checking out the research, but actually needed to get like, either steal the information to get back to the rival shark facility or just like pay off his mob debts by giving the secret cure to Alzheimer's.
That's what it is. Oh, yeah, Carter Blake owes the mob money and he has to do it, but then he realizes he messed up.
So if instead of the sharks having developed some kind of a resistance to the tranquilizers, they've been switched out by the mob person for duds. So no tranks actually, and the sharks weren't tranked, and that's where all this came from. But then that takes away some of the agency from the sharks, and I feel like they deserve everything they get agency-wise.
Yes.
So I don't like this. Right, I don't like this.
That movie, The Replacements, has a mob subplot in it too.
A little bit.
Let y'all know that. Man, I'm gonna do a new series
with the kicker with the lizard. With
the lizard's wiry.
Yeah, he has to like miss. Does he? Yeah, he doesn't take the kick, right? So
Keanu pulls it out when he goes to kick, and Keanu runs with it and gets the first down.
Because it makes sense to be in for the mob by being like, look, I'm gonna not do the thing I'm good at in order to succeed with you guys. That makes more sense to me.
The world needs more mob subplots.
It's like when you bet against the boxer who's the underdog, but he wins anyway. And it's like, yeah, kid, I bet it all against you because I never thought you had a chance. It's like, that was a bad choice.
Also, this is random, but
we're really going off track from where we usually are in this.
In Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Freddy has a glove that he uses as a shark fin to fly up on a beach to attack somebody.
Oh, that's equivalent to following having a Batman sticker at one point before Chris Nolan went on to make that.
Right?
It's just like that.
Yep.
Oh man, this is
the signs were all there. How did we not see them?
Yep.
And also, I really love Rennie Harlin's Cold trilogy. He did Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, and The Long Kiss Goodnight in the 90s.
I like that we refer to it as the Cold trilogy, and we should do that from now on because yes, you're completely right.
I think my cast here.
I was doing some IMDb research and I went, oh.
I mean, he snuck in a Cutthroat Island in there, but I mean,
man, I love that movie. Verhoeven wanted to make that?
I'm sure everyone did, and they all succeeded in not, and Rennie Harlin took the blunt and bankrupted a studio, so good on him.
He spent so much money. That's a blank check movie, and I love it. I love blank check movies where they just get so much, ridiculous amounts of money to just throw around. I do feel bad, though, because he had Gina Davis starring in $100 million movies in the 90s. And like Long Kiss Goodnight, she's a badass. And in that one, she's the hero. And people look at him so negatively, but it was kind of cool that he was tried.
People like Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah.
Like
it's true.
Cutthroat Island. I mean, I don't really like Cutthroat Island, but I mean, I know there's a group of people that it has a cult following as far as like, hey, that pirate movie's not that bad with Frank Langella and his little arms as a evil pirate.
You know what I love about it though? You can see every cent spent on screen in that movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Rennie Harlin doesn't skimp on the production value of his films. Like it's not, it doesn't look like blindly spending money. It looks like a movie that costs a lot of money. It's a pirate movie. They generally cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll just put those
Pirates,
boats on water.
Stranger Tides is still like the most expensive film of all time. Is that a weird fact to know? Yes, it is. Also, Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides cost like over $300 million. Why the fourth one? I have no idea, but it did.
And I can't believe that movie made $1 billion worldwide.
It made the money back.
It's insane. That movie crushed my soul.
By far the worst one, but it made it.
It is absolutely the worst one by a long way.
The fifth one has zombie sharks. I like that.
It does. Yeah, I'm into that for sure.
I'm all about zombie sharks.
Zombie sharks, but still a terrible film. Even that couldn't save it.
What's the better slide in this movie? In this scene where Carter gets hit by the water and he dives towards the. He actually dives and grasps, which is one of his three moves that we've. Yeah. So he does that, or when he dives out the door, when he opens it up and slides right through.
Well, the first dive to the stairs has no chance in hell of making it. He is clearly diving to the left of the stairs, and I understand it's a high pressure situation, and he's just trying, but in hindsight, 2020, it's never going to work. But that at least is a dive that makes sense. He's trying to get to the stairs, whereas the other dive. I don't know what he's doing heading for the door. He reaches the top of the stairs. Water is maybe ankle deep up there at the moment. It's getting deeper every second. But he just dives and kind of crawls along to get underneath everyone else at the door. And they've got the apparatus to open the door is at like chest height. So I don't know what he's doing down there.
Yeah, it's those shoes, right?
the shoes. Yeah, they
Yeah,
just
I'm
they
telling you.
confuse him.
I'm telling you. Yeah.